So today we're going through some of the strikers. We have got a lot to go with. There has been multiple upgrades now for many of the top boys and girls, I suppose, as well. Who is going to be the best? Now, I've not introduced icons and heroes just yet, only the ones that you can obviously put in. So, a Forlan, an Ollie, they're going to be ones that you could have got from an SBC. And we've introduced, obviously, the Ultimate Scream heroes. They are somebody in packs, and whether you could question they are more packable than the heroes themselves, it's always an interesting debate. But it's going to be very interesting to see when we put in the icons, where does everybody else fit in? Because at the moment, icons are still extremely expensive for what they are. So it's just that big debate on it. And I do think over the next week or two, now we finally got an icon pack, we are going to start to see them drop down. Interesting then to see where that next level of power curve really goes. So straight off the bat, let's have a look at some of these players then. So one of the big ones for me to start with is going to be the likes of a Joao Pedro. Now, if you've played FIFA before, you kind of know who can be good in the game. And you know body types, you know naturally where the progression's going. That's Neves, not Joao Pedro. And Joao Pedro came in as an 86 SBC. Only problem is we did get a lovely evolution the same day that got us to I think an 84 Joao Pedro, 85 maybe. And it was close. Like, I mean, definitely the 86 was still better in a lot of areas, but naturally for 110k, which was 100k back then, it was very interesting to see the difference in price that you paid 25, 30k for the evolution, and he's only a stone step away. Like, he's not necessarily, he's not like a whole fence away. He's literally on the doorstep of him, and you've put in 75k less. Always interesting, but Joao Pedro is very much like my man Hugo Ekitike. He is going to be good in this game. Like, the end game cards, if you utilize them, are going to be fantastic. Now, I do have a bigger, higher ceiling for Ekitike. I do think he's going to be one that will be fantastic. 6'2", great pace, great shooting, great dribbling. He's going to be a player that really pushes forward, which is nice. Obviously, going for the Hunter with him is going to be incredible. You'll end up seeing, 87 and 94 on the pace and shooting. He will be a top-end striker by the end of the game. His in-game in real life has been absolutely marvellous. Some of the touches he takes, I know they're in a bit of a bad spell at the moment, but he does look like a player that could really kick on, and hopefully that does kind of reflect in FIFA, as I do think he will be one up there with one of my more favoured. Now, I do think he's just a little bit above Joao Pedro in my opinion, and when we do look at the base version of him now as well, he's obviously got his 83. He would be more of an Evo card, kind of like how you see a CR7 now, how you see a Messi. They are good. They're standard cards in their gold, but once they start kind of getting up to that level, it's going to be very interesting to see where the evolutions could take them as well, if you either can't afford or haven't managed to pack any of their kind of special versions on the way up. So obviously with his standard card, would go into like a C, which would be kind of like your evolution basis. That is not, you're not really going to use the 83 with how cheap cards are now. Like, personally for me, one that is still absolutely relevant in this is Gyökeres. I know prices of strikers in terms of the gold are so low at the moment. You got 50k for Gyökeres. You look at the other Prem strikers, you've got a whole host of them now. We go into striker. I knew that was going to happen. Naturally, then you've got Isaac, you've got Haaland all coming in. We go into the strikers. You've got Haaland coming in at 37.5. You've got Isaac coming in at 24.5. You then obviously see Gyökeres at 47. All of these are phenomenal strikers. They definitely get you by in this market without necessarily going too crazy. Like, we're looking at icons. We're looking at like a Berbatov now dropping down. We'll see Tevez at 3.38. There's not going to be that much of a difference between a Tevez and a kind of a Gyökeres at this point with what they can actually produce. There might be different angles that you play with, but realistically, they're all going to give you a very good end result because not everybody has got the absolute top of the top team. Now, do I think Gyökeres is going to be the absolute number one? Of course not. I think S plus is going to be very protected in this sort of tier list. Like, realistically, you're going to look at one man for it, and he's going to be just over here at a couple of million at a time. There will be a couple of others in here, obviously, but Mbappe is kind of the benchmark, and I don't think that's really shocking to say. He is a cheat code in this game that is unbelievable. It's still 2 million coins. His SBC is 3.9 with, I think, 3 days to go, or yeah, 3 days to go. So it's going to be gone, and then we're going to see potentially another kind of maybe even a fodder decrease. I don't mean there's a lot of SBCs out. I don't think Mbappe going. Not everybody is kind of focused on finishing that SBC. Still incredible, regardless. Like I know. I always put it in the don't complete because naturally not everybody's going to be able to get 4 million coins worth of fodder. It's going to take a lot of money. So if you do manage to get him, fantastic. Yes, the investment in him is going to be incredible. Like he is an absolute cheat code in the game, and I don't think that would be anybody's surprise by the start of the game. Then obviously we've got quite a few others in terms of the heroes. I think that was most definitely more of a striker kind of partnership now. We've obviously got Campos going from a goalie to a striker. Didn't realise that they were going to do the position change. Whether that's going to be in most promos now or this is just an ultimate scream. Always interesting. I really wanted to see if they was to give him like 99 diving or something. It'd have been very interesting in that ultimate screen, but I suppose the roles really would have been a little bit skewed with it. So it kind of is what it is with it. El Waran, obviously fantastic. I still didn't think he was the top of the top in my opinion. I think he's very, very good, but I do think the price is a little bit inflated for him. I would happily go with an S with him. Campos, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, he was okay. He weren't amazing. Like, he's better outfield than he is in net, in my opinion. Like, he actually had some ability on the ball. But I wouldn't necessarily put him as a high rating. I'd go under Joao Pedro for me. And then, obviously, we do have a Natale who might be a little bit under here. He's obviously phenomenal. Now, I did include his hero card because if you look between the two of them, you've got 1.4 mil and you've got 1 mil. In terms of difference, there isn't that much. It literally is the same card with a little bit more defending, one on everything. It's one of them that's just, it's a dynamic. It's an upgrade. And naturally, he's going to be one of my favourite strikers in the game. And I'm so happy that he did manage to get an upgrade. Granted, it's only a +1, but I'm kind of getting the vibe that EA are going to start giving us very slow, minute upgrades that eventually happen. But the interesting part will be more, how do they keep going with like a 90 Di Natale, a 91, or do they go 1 upgrade, 2 upgrade for everybody, then they do another one? The power curve at the minute, we're a month into the game now. Just over a month, maybe a little bit under. And to be honest, I feel like there's a lot of people with the kind of same teams at this point. This is what we don't want to get to, is where you're constantly just looking for that massive upgrade. Everybody's got a Gyökeres, a Virgil, a Saliba, kind of a De Jong in the middle. Then we're all waiting for a Dembele, an Mbappe. It's going to be interesting to see where that next kind of tier really comes in. One that I do think is just unbelievable is obviously Pina. If you've been kind of under a rock somewhere, she is broken. Like, low driven is a phenomenal playstyle plus. It's just brilliant. It's so easy to use. It's frustrating, but you've really got to try and man mark her completely and not give her the open spot. And even then, she still does manage to score. And I do think this is a card perfectly that depicts the pace is just not what it is. She is so much superior than 79 pace. It's unbelievable. Granted, she has dropped a little bit now, but she still scores every single time. I've seen her in so many teams on the left as the striker. It just works every single time. So again, another one that really kind of puts herself into that sort of mark. And there is bound to be a lot of S-rated strikers. It's the one thing that I do like with this kind of FIFA at the minute. As much as there is a lot of same teams, it's a lot of same players in certain positions, but you can change it up. Like, I've seen people with Gyökeres, obviously Dembele if you've managed to get him. We've seen Pulisic, I've seen Kane, I've seen Mateta. He's on the far right of my screen. He is just another one that there is so many different variations that do really, really well. Mateta is going to be another one of them. I think he is a great SBC. And the good thing is as well with these sort of teams, I do like the Ultimate Gauntlet. I always bring it back that you do need either, if you play a dual striker or a single, you do realistically need either 6 strikers, 3 strikers that really are in that gauntlet for that period of time. Little bit easier now because we've been getting so many entries, but regardless, putting in a little bit of a team, whether we get some more theme objectives, I think they've got a very good basis, especially for the likes of tournaments and also we're only in a month to the game, whether we start seeing more squad requirements that they've got to be changed, but you've got to include a full nation team, you've got to include a full league team. That could be where these cards really do come in. A Pina for a Liga F. We've obviously got then like a Mateta, an Ekitike for a Prem. We then see a Natale, a Thuram, a Wilson for Serie A, NWSL. I think that's where we really got to go with this game. Mateta, I'd definitely put him... I mean, I'd probably go one above him. I think he played way above his level, in my opinion. And yes, his dribbling is kind of questionable at times. I think he's another one that stats just don't really hold him back. And I know it's kind of been a little bit more kind of harsher on Joao Pedro. We may change them up towards the end because there is still some, like you look at a lot of these golds, a lot of them are just standard now. Like Openda is going to be a lot of pace. We see Griezmann. Griezmann is dying for an upgrade and he's kind of like the Dybala. The start card is nice. He's got the ability. I like him in cam more than a striker, but he's got ability to start with. The dribbling works. He's obviously got chip shot that can go through on goal, but once he starts getting them upgrades, there is very little stopping him.
So if you're looking for coins, head over to eldorado.gg. There is huge amounts of verified sellers on Eldorado, and there is a money back guaranteed by Trade Shield. If that's not enough, there is 24/7 live support and also plenty of reviews across websites that will definitely put your mind at ease. And as always, before you check out, make sure that you are using the code JT11 for 5% off every single order. Back to the video.
But that being said, we did speak about like kind of Prem strikers. I do think Isaac and Haaland will definitely still be up here. I don't know if I'd ever say Haaland is going to be in the top category yet. I mean, he normally gets kind of like a Team of the Year-esque vibe card, and that would really kind of do him for me. I think Team of the Year, striker-wise, what we'll be looking at Yamal. We'll be looking at obviously Mbappe. Who else would you go? Ballon d'Or, I think Dembele's obviously got to be in it. It's going to be very interesting, even just talking now. Where do they end up at some point? Because obviously Team of the Year, it's still a little bit away. Like we've got 2-3 months at the minimum, but they're going to be the cards that are going to be very interesting to see. They will be the upgraded version at some point, which will most definitely have an effect on their kind of November, December cards, whether they get much of an upgrade. Dembele is just screaming for like a winter wild card if they do give him that. And obviously we're in Ultimate Scream, so whether we get a second week of it, I don't know. With obviously there being the Halloween event, Halloween being this weekend, so whether we go into a second week during, I'm assuming we will, with a lot of these objectives lasting 2 weeks. So it will be another chance of potentially getting some of these strikers in there. We then do have like a Kerr at this point, dropping down quite a bit. Even Marmoush, I absolutely love him. I think in-game he is fantastic. But realistically, he's now dropping down from an S category. Like he's 2,500 coins. A lot of people can afford him. He's kind of reminds me very much of like the Griezmann. Could do with the upgrade, slowly getting in there. Same as kind of Thuram. I think probably going a bit harsh. It's almost like you need a kind of a downer grade of these really like... I'd probably still say around about there. Osimhen, in-game is nice. I mean, he's got the stats. It's more just links, if anything, for him. When we do get more of the heroes and icons in people's teams, maybe we see a little bit more. I don't know, do the Turkish League even have any heroes in here? I know we've got a few cards. Edison, yeah, so it's not, we haven't even really got the heroes to go in here. Realistically, he's going to be a bench player more so than anything, unless you have icons that work with him. And even, what about Nigerian players? They definitely had a suit of players that definitely worked at one point. Like Lookman comes to mind straight away. Okocha, Kanu, Teller, another great one in fact. So we've got a little bit more of a kind of a basis we can go with there. Yeah, probably just the kind of top. The only problem is all of them are in the attacking zone, so it makes it so much more difficult. Obviously, Osimhen, Kanu being just strikers, so you've really got to kind of base it there. Bassi as a centre-back definitely looks great on an upgrade as well, with an Evo that we've been getting. And that's another thing. Evos are another very promising thing at the moment. You look at some of the kind of popular players that we've got. There is some very, very nice upgrades that we can see. From even a Rashford on the left mid. We've obviously had a solid left-back, a solid centre-back now. So it is interesting to go into that level and think we could upgrade through the Evo point of view for a lot of these cards as well. Obviously Dembele, He is a nightmare. Like he would definitely go in to suit this game down to a ground with the passing that you can get. The PSG. It's kind of, I don't know how it sounded weird. The PSG team you can make. Doué's upgrade. Kvaratskhelia eventually get an upgrade. João Neves, Vitinha, Pacho, Marquinhos. Like there's a solid team. The only thing they miss is going to be Donnarumma now. But then you throw in like Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, and Dembele. Dembele's dribbling is an absolute pain. A million coin card, and it obviously shows for him. He is an absolute joke. Low driven on the play styles as well. He can be, well, he is a right wing more so than anything, but at this point, kind of like how Mbappe's the cheat code, Dembele's there as well. He is just a broken striker purely on the fact that defenders just cannot get rid of him. He is just that sort of card. And another one that I think is a personal favourite of mine, and whether I'd go for it in the top or in the S, Wilson is another broken striker. And if you've used her, you kind of know exactly what I'm talking about. She was broken last year, and I want to say the year before that, because I think the year before was her team of the year. I don't know if she got back-to-back team of the years, but regardless, the highest rated version of her is always a joke, and the starting card is always there as well. Now, I will go S for the moment, just purely on the fact that these are some of the best. And realistically, some of these debut icons will obviously be up there for their upgraded version that is coming in November. Like we look at, for instance, R9. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him in anybody's team yet. But if you've managed to get him, this version of R9 is a joke. Like regardless of how well he is right now, I think pretty much most, rather than Totti, will absolutely be in this S+. From Morgan, Ibra, Henry, they are all going into upgrades that are going to be stupid, like genuinely stupid. Like you look at the 91 R9 Henry, he's obviously got a 91 here with a quick step, 2.5 million. You look at Morgan, I gave her a go in draft in her normal 91, and that card is going to be a joke. Ibra is one of the players that I really want in my team. He's going to go up to a 92. Again, another joke. Totti, on the other hand, I do like him, and I've seen him a lot more than anybody. Going up to the 89, he's nice. I don't know if I'd quite go S+, but he's going to be nice enough. We then also have Vini as another very high rated card, now coming in as a striker potential. Granted, obviously he is a left wing. He can play striker still on his previous card, and he's 3.2 million coins, which is kind of to be expected with that low driven. Very much like Dembele if you manage to get him. He's just going to weed through defenders like they're not there, and he will get that low driven at some point. And the point with some of these end game cards like Vini, like Mbappe, is you could literally just keep passing to him and eventually you'll find something. They are the game-winning cards that people just cannot deal with at the moment. Maybe, yes, elite level players could hold off him quite a bit, and naturally they might have some of these level of cards themselves, but realistically, an average Joe, a good player, eventually, if you are semi-decent at attacking, they will get a goal at some point. It's just the way of the game. Another one that got a big upgrade, and he plays way better in his position, is going to be Leao. Obviously, he's 84. We've been seeing a lot more of him now. He's a bit cheaper. Again, another one that potentially will be an Evo at some point, but the striker variation with the finesse, 1.3, I mean, he's an absolute monster going forward as well. Great pace, decent shooting. Like, I mean, he needs a bit more naturally, and it's why you possibly see him more as a left wing. But you throw the finisher on him as well. If my mouse wants to stay there, you obviously get the 86 and 93. He is another joke card, and hence the price of him. He's very difficult to get. And if we do manage to get that 7-day temporary 99, which I think is coming this week, you could potentially look at that 99 shooting. I think it'd be a waste of this temporary boost to not put it at 99. So another one that will most definitely leave a huge mark on the game. But if we kind of put in a few more of these golds then, I think when you do look at a lot of them, some of them are pretty standard. Like you look at your Kane now, realistically, you can get a bit of use out of him, but I'd probably prefer a little bit more of a pacier striker. That's my personal preference. I think strikers with just that little bit more pace than 64, even like kind of the mid 70s, is still questionable with how I personally play and how a lot of people almost run and gun, and it's kind of like a COD reference where you're just attacking constantly. Not everybody is pass, which is what would suit Kane down to the ground. He's a player that can hold up the ball, and yes, if you kind of get some decent shots with him, he's going to score. His shooting is immaculate, but realistically, the general population of FIFA is very little on that passing. They might spend the first 20 minutes of the game, pass, keep the ball, get it down, get the ball round, and then it all goes out the window, because then you just want to attack. You don't want to sit with the ball for 90% possession, get 2 goals and hold off completely. You like to just run and shoot. So Kane's going to have that little bit of a problem. Now obviously he does have an upgraded version, which we'll get onto. Lauan will be around about the same as well. I quite like Martinez going forward. Oshiman with the pace is going to do it. Pajor is going to do it. Even Katoto has got that ability to push forward and really get them goals. And maybe I'm being harsh. It's just how I've always felt with the bottom gold cards of Kane and Lewandowski. Once they get that pace, for instance, with the little upgrade, they start to become a little bit better, in my opinion. We see the 90 version of Kane, even though a little bit more expensive, we did see the upgrade with his inform, but then we got a little bit more of an upgrade from obviously his 90. 8 on the pace is an absolute massive thing that you can get. You either then go with the engine, which gets him just that little bit more pace, or if you just want to go out and out, 6 extra, 95 shooting, which isn't the greatest way, because obviously you maybe want a bit more agility balance for him, which I think would work a lot more with his shooting. That's going to be a more finished version of the card, which I do think would kind of give him into that sort of topper sort of level. Same with Alvarez. I think he's obviously there. Dumine plays way better than her card suggests. She is just a joke when going forward as well. João Felix, I'd go in kind of the A. He's great for the price that you're paying, but realistically, it's because of the Eusebio nature of having that Portuguese striker that obviously gets the goals, is going to be pretty wonderful. We got a few of the kind of lower cards really coming in now. Orzabal, they could get a little bit. Even Muller could get slightly a little bit out there. And to be honest, possibly even being a bit too harsh on Ekitike. Maybe drop the C. Realistically, I'm kind of looking at like a Watkins, a Tell, a Kolomowane, the players that really could do with the Evo. Ekitike, you could definitely play and he might get something, but once you come up against the kind of like Division 4, 3, 2, 1 players, he's not necessarily going to get through as much as kind of his upgraded version or players of a little bit better of a quality. CR7, I mean, is an absolute joke in himself. He's obviously very expensive. They've always got, he's got his own body type. I mean, if you've ever seen the actual in-games of cards and you look at who's got their own body type, their own run type, their own dribbling type, even shooting, they tend to perform that little bit better. Mbappe now has it. Haaland obviously has it, which works in some ways with the game, and Ronaldo is always going to be broken. Messi, when he gets more of an upgrade, is still going to be broken on that wing as well. We then have the likes of Pulisic, I think is an easy one, and Mbeumo, who is, again, more of a right wing. I think he definitely has got that striking in him, but realistically is a right wing. Got a little bit of an upgrade on the weak foot, changed his playstyle plus to power shot, which, I mean, to be honest, I'm not a power shot plus player, really. I don't really go for it too much. It's great if you're trying to win a corner out of nothing, because realistically, the keeper does parry quite a lot. But what I found is they parry it more towards the throw now, more so than a corner every single time, unless you get the angles completely right. But realistically, it's another one that's going to be very interesting to see in that future. Which then leaves us with the kind of final few. We've obviously got Ollie, we've got Forlan, and I've got a Ginola in here as well. I mean, Ginola is an obvious one that throws himself in there. Ollie, I'd possibly, now to be honest, I think Forlan and Ollie would come on the tail ends now of this. They are a little bit higher than your kind of standard cards, but not necessarily above the absolutes. Like, the level of them are now coming into more of an average basis, where we know that a Gyökeres and Isaac and Haaland, a Wilson, will definitely kind of keep up with them to some extent. We do have Shaw, who is another fantastic one. I didn't even realise that she was already 89. Going into that 90. Solid card going in. Low driven. Got some great pace, some great shooting, and even the dribbling is decent enough. You throw the engine on her, I mean, it's a very, very nice card, to say that she's very rarely put into any sort of category. Then obviously Dzeko from his flashback, another one that is standard. Serie A, really nice. I mean, he's got the ultimate screen cosmetic you could put on him, but realistically, you're probably keeping him as a flashback. And it's the only thing that I thought that they were going to give, and it's just a wild tangent, is the fact that I really thought that they could have potentially changed the Evo type. So if I go and put him into, for instance, the next promo, whatever, say it's Winter Wildcard, I know it's not going to be, it changes up to the Winter Wildcard design, I could then manually change it back to the flashback. I think they're missing a perfect key with that. Same with if we wanted to put Gyökeres with the red foot jams. Eventually he will potentially get an Evo at some point later on in the game. I'm going to lose out on that. Any of the ice in your veins cosmetics. I really wish we kind of kept that, but it kind of is what it is. I personally think Dzeko would come kind of now into a more bog standard one, and then Alvarez with his upgrade pretty much sits where his kind of other one is really. It's not necessarily a crazy upgrade. He gets the finesse rather than the press proven, little bit of a stat upgrade, and nothing really else other than a couple of playstyles. So gonna sit very, very standard in the card as well. And that's going to be the list for today. Let me know down below if you've got any cards that you would like to have seen in here. I'll definitely put the ranks in there. And the next time you see this striker tier list, icons and heroes will be fully added in, and we'll see the fully best strikers that you can get for any price budget. Peace.